So if ever there was a reason for you to have an ice scraper in your vehicle, my tailgate is frozen shut. And so I'm not able to access my vehicle survival kit. You know, this last week, the South experienced a winter in such a way that people acted like winter has never happened before. Like it doesn't happen every year. And I'm not trying to be insensitive, but that just goes to show you the amount of people who don't prepare for what happens all the time. So let's change that. Let's do a video on how, at least with your vehicle, should you get stranded, you can be prepared to handle the dreaded winter. Stay tuned. Let it be known that if you are in a situation where you have to, where you're stranded or whatever, stay in your vehicle. Don't leave your vehicle. Use common sense. This is a shelter, okay? This is going to keep you out of the elements. This is going to keep you a lot warmer than if you go outside and start treading around on your own. Stay in your vehicle, especially when people are looking for you. Okay, so unfortunately, a lot of this comes from experience. And experience that I hope a lot of people don't have to go through. But a SHTF, you know, stuff hits the fan, since I got younger viewers, can happen at any moment. It's not an EMP, it's whatever. It can be a car accident, you hit a deer, your truck just dies in the middle of nowhere, and now you're stranded. But let's talk about this. In a previous video, I talked about packing in accordance with priorities of work. This is contingency planning. So packing and planning in accordance with the priorities of work, depending on what it is we're doing, that got us into the driver's seat or in the passenger seat. So now what? Now we got to think of, like, from here to here, what happens if this happens? And then from here to here, what happens if this happens, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the common things is, what happens if we get into a vehicle accident? What happens if we get into that vehicle accident and my passenger has an arterial bleed, or my child in the back breaks an arm, what have you? God forbid that ever happens. But what if? We need to be prepared. And so this is how I, as just the way my brain works, and from experience, this is just how I have my vehicle EDC, my vehicle everyday carry. So firstly, every person in the vehicle has access to a tourniquet. And everybody in my vehicle is trained on how to properly apply a tourniquet. Now, here in my glove box that everybody has access to is just a basic first aid kit for your simple injuries, bleeds, scratches, stings, whatever, non-trauma, extra tourniquet. I got a notebook in here. There's a pen in there somewhere, but just so, you know, if you have to leave the vehicle at any point in time, you can write a note, leave it on the dash for people to see. And with that being said, I have a window marker here, so I can write notes on the actual glass that people can read from the outside. You know, SOS, help me, call 911, whatever, right? So as passerbys can see that. And then I'll show you this one. I'm not going to show you the rest of it, but I have a baton in here, personal safety, and for defense. So another item that I got is I have this battery charger. Keep it charged. This thing lasted for days, so just charge it. It's too easy. Another honorable mention is on my keys here, I have a vehicle escape tool. And so if I'm incapacitated for any way, there's a quick release. There's this little clip right here that anybody can go ahead and pull it off and be able to escape out of a window or cut themselves out of the seat belt, right? Again, everybody in my vehicle is trained on how to do this. So that's inside the vehicle. Of course, there's all sorts of other stuff that you can do inside the vehicle. If you have any other ideas, put them in the comments, okay? But let's talk about what Let's look at a vehicle survival kit that I got, that I keep in the back, just for extra items that you can have on with the vehicle to make you a little bit more comfy. Now, this is just a simple seat organizer. You see both seats have it. So my kids, as they're back here, again, each of them comes with a tourniquet, a SAM splint, a flashlight, and some ACE bandage. When I was stationed in Alaska in the Army, it was actually required that we have a vehicle survival kit in our vehicles during the winter time. We had to have a change of clothes, warm clothes. We had to have MREs. We had to have water. We had to have roadside assistance kits, jumper cables, flares, the whole nine. And these were inspectable items because it happened all the time. These vehicles would land in the ditches, whatever, be there for hours before somebody can get to them, just because the weather was so hostile or hazardous in the wintertime. So it's required up there. Down here, I got it. It's like 1,000 degrees all the in the summer, and 30 in the winter. But it's still good to have because people still end up in the ditches here. So let me show you. Okay, so firstly, none of this stuff is complicated. Don't overcomplicate this. These are common items. I'm gonna stop hitting things so I stop shaking the camera. These are just common things that you can go to Walmart and buy. So I have a 12-gallon little tote. And so again, the thought process is not only am I in my vehicle, so I want to be comfortable, but also I need to be rescued. So I got a couple things for that. First is I have tow straps, so somebody can tow me out if need be. And then I also have a vehicle recovery kit. This has my road flares. This has my signal devices. Whoops. This has my signal. This has my signal devices. This has jumper cables, all sorts of stuff. Okay. And then inside I have some comfort items. Well, I also have this tarp. And this tarp serves a couple purposes. One is that it can just be used as a shelter if need be. But again, I would recommend, if you can, stay in the vehicle. And with that, I got some paracord. But for my passengers, because I want them to be comfortable, is I got a series of ponchos, okay, and space blankets. Everybody in my vehicle will have access to a space blanket in order to be warm. Then some dude wipes, because nobody likes a dirty butt. I got stormproof matches, and then I got a whole bunch of lighters for starting fires if need be. Maybe I want to burn this truck to the ground. Gorilla tape. So many uses for Gorilla tape. One of them being fire, and I show several different, I have several videos and clips of me doing just that. But that's a useful tool. Also, I have a Grail water bottle for fetching water, a whistle for signals, and then I got this this kit. This was actually inside the truck, along with some iodine tablets, because even though I have the Grail for filtering the water, if it's gross stagnant water, I want to be sure that it's safe. So I just got some iodine tablets just to be extra safe. But this was also under the seat. I forgot to showcase this. This is just another thing. My kid actually got this for me for Christmas one year, and it is like an all-in-one thing, man. I have an axe head. I have enough pieces for a staff. It's got a shovel head. It's got a knife. It's got compass on it. It's got all sorts of stuff. So this is also in my truck. What's this? It's got yet another fire starter and glass breaker. And then again, it's got all these poles on it, so in it, so then you can make it as long as you want in order to make it effective. And then you just have a box that's big enough to fit it all. Okay, and then that just goes right in my truck. So unfortunately, it's unsafe for me to occupy my vehicle. So at this time, I'm gonna have to dismount and plan on self-recovery. So I grabbed my go bag out of my truck, and we're gonna go into the tree line. It's almost nighttime, so we're gonna have to set up shelter and fire for the night. And then I'll go over with you what I keep in my go bag. A quick note, if you are going out wearing Crocs in this weather, if you're going out wearing Crocs, tennis shoes, or whatever, I highly recommend keeping a pair of waterproof boots of some sort in your vehicle that you can change into should you have to dismount. All right, so a little bit about what I'm doing here. The first thing I'm doing is I'm getting my fire made because it's cold, darkness is coming. I'm gonna need light, I'm gonna need heat. Okay, inside my ruck, I have a bunch of fire starters because I'm gonna cheat. Not gonna try to do anything fancy. This is from home, this is preparation to go out. All I have right here is a cotton ball infused with Vaseline, man. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this sumbug apart. Lay it in my tinder bundle. Okay. Now, before I depart my vehicle, we got to talk about first level and second level of EDC. My first level is what do I carry on my person should I get separated from my ruck? Okay. So my first one was my knife, which I actually set right here, a fixed blade knife. I sit right there by my bag. And then I have a Ziploc bag. And in this Ziploc bag, I have, because I have it, you might not have it, but you know, if you do, that'd be great. I have a small GPS, like a little Garmin. And then I have my ferro rod. This is my minimal kit, as well as my cell phone and keys and money and wallet and all that stuff. This is my minimal kit. That way, if I get separated from my bag, I can move off and I can at least have some fire and call for help. And I have a GPS to tell me where I'm going. You know, this is just worst case scenario, I guess. But anyways, I got my Vaseline infused cotton ball. Not gonna take much. Just like so. All right, while that's starting, I'm gonna start setting up my shelter while it's getting dark. So let me show you something that I did in the infantry. I got these bungee cords on the back. That's gonna serve as my ridge line. And now what the Mylar is going to do is it's going to reflect the heat back at me, hopefully, while I chill out here for a minute. So get this fire back going. Now this, of course, isn't the most luxurious setup, but you know, it's temporary shelter, hasty shelter. I'm gonna have to nurse on that fire. But while I'm sitting here, let me show you what else I got in my ruck. Okay, so it's just an Army Alice pack, a large size. Nothing too crazy about that. On the front here, I have my hatchet, and then I have a grail, or not a grail, I'm sorry, a life straw Nalgene bottle. Okay, works just like a life straw, but instead of putting your face into the pond, you put this in there, and it has a filter on the inside. Pretty sweet. In this pouch, I have a hand saw, and I have a canteen with, fell off, with a canteen cup. This way I can get water. If I collect water in my life straw bottle or my canteen, I can boil it or I can cook with it. And then you probably saw earlier in this pouch, I have my e-tool. On the outside, I have just a Cordura, okay, pack cover just to keep it waterproof. I'll put that on top of it so it keeps waterproof. Now, what I have is I have my my radio pouch, excuse me, here. Get that variety of the items. I have a waterproof container with some more fire starting material and important documents. I have another knife in here. I actually have a life straw. I got some tape, got some paracord, things that don't matter if it gets wet. I got a multi-tool. I got some ropes in here that I use for various climbing things. I even have another headlamp, which is probably put in the waterproof container, but we'll do that later. And then for my pack here, when it comes to packing this, it's very important that this was taught to me as a young soldier. You know, I think there's a disservice. When I was in basic training, no one taught me how to pack a ruck, and then it took until I went to, until I actually old Green Beret back in the way day when I was a young private showed me how to pack a rucksack properly. Of course, you want all your lighter stuff on the bottom and all your heavier stuff at the top towards the frame. That way it sits on your shoulders. But what he taught us is those waterproof bags are all good and all, but like trash bags, you can't go wrong with trash bags. A lot of things you can do with trash bags. But it's double lined. So I got a trash bag. Well, I'll show you. So I got one trash bag that's like the liner that protects all of my stuff on the inside. And then on the inside, I got some dude wipes. I got some working gloves. All right, need some working gloves. And then I have two bags right now, but the bottom bag, that's got my sleeping bag. It's got an extra Mylar shelter. It's got a change of clothes, okay? And then I have a smaller bag right here. This has socks, t-shirts, things of that sort, things that I would immediately need. The change of clothes is in the bottom here. Because I don't necessarily need it like immediately. I can go a few days wearing the same clothes, but like socks and t-shirts, oh my god, it's like a joygasm putting on new socks. And then I tie this tightly and stuff it in, and I want it to be as small and compact as humanly possible. The cool thing about it is that if you pack these things properly, they are waterproof, and they do become a flotation device. You can float in the river with them, which is why I really like them. Call me old-fashioned, but me and old Alice go way back. But anyways, I'm going to continue to refine my shelter and my fire, and you know, prepare for self-rescue in the morning. Okay, so if you like content like this, go ahead and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. At a very minimum, hit that at the very minimum, hit that like button. And if you like, you know, if you saw some value in this, I'd really appreciate that follow button or subscribe button, man. so we can get this out to the masses and get it out to the people who need it. So yeah, I'm going to continue refining the shelter a little bit. This was put up in a haste for the sake of getting some shelter, protection from the snow, and some heat. So anyways, until next time, remember to prepare, train, survive, and I'll catch you on the next video.